It's one of my favorite quotes from the entire essay. It's being open to the fact that, you know what, I don't know everything about myself. I never will, and therefore I'm always going to be open to understanding who I am and what my experiences have brought to myself. Read this with me. In such a case, I should, even if I defined myself as gentle and tender-hearted, realize that this definition does not say all about myself, and therefore I should be compelled to state this saying. So far as I know, in the situations which I have found myself, I have been up to now, on the whole, gentle and tender-hearted. But since I have not been in all possible situations, nor experienced all possible experiences, and since few of us are completely honest with ourselves, there no doubt exists within me feelings that I have not recognized in myself, as well as potentialities for emotions that I have not yet had occasion to feel. With this attitude towards our self-definitions, towards our self-concept, towards what we think about ourselves, we then indeed shall be open to our experience. We will understand ourselves a little bit more. Does anyone who know who this guy is? He is Greek. Good job. Socrates said this quote. I'm sure it's been the quote of Weymouth High School students in yearbooks in years past. He once said, "Know thyself." And I don't know if it's because it's easy to quote him by saying this, or if people just like thinking that they have a quote by Socrates that they can throw out there. But they usually stop there, instead of quoting the rest of what he said. He said, "Whatever authority I may have rests solely upon my knowing how little I know." Now there is wisdom. Not just know thyself, but also know how little you know. Yet again, one of my favorite quotes, the individual who says, "I know myself," does not know himself. It is the individual who knows how little he knows about himself, who stands a reasonable chance of finding out something about himself before he dies. All right, let's go over C1. How does he differ in applying what doesn't fit into his self-concept to what he observes about himself? How does a fully functioning person deal with wellings of emotion that don't fit into his self-concept? What is this? I don't understand why I'm feeling like this.
That person will always realize that they're not perfect and that their view of himself is loosely based on what they believe themselves to be. It can change, it can vary, something can always go wrong, something can always feel wrong, and they have to go with the flow almost.
Okay, good. So they have to be open to understanding that we're all changing, we're constantly changing, and some experience, some situation could bring them a new bit of information about themselves. C2, how does this make him more honest and open with himself? How does knowing that he doesn't know it all make him more open and honest with himself? Steve?
He's open to his new experiences that aren't always met with, but if he has an open mind to them, then he can map the new experiences.
Very nice. He's open to the new experiences, and he can map them as he experiences them and cope with them as he experiences them. Nikki?
He knows that people change, and we all have to allow our maps and territories to change as well.
Very nice. We have to allow for our maps to change, to mark out the new territory that we discover on them. Let's keep going. Another way sane is that this. Read with me. They are not uncomfortable about the fact that they do not have all the answers. Instead, They are uniformly unthreatened and unfrightened by the unknown, being therein quite different from the average man, right? Most people are so afraid of what they don't know. I will attest that I am very insane in this way. We have our 401ks, we have our life insurance plans, we have so many things just so that, oh my gosh, if something unknown happens, I fear it, I am scared, oh, what if these things happen? And they're threatened and frightened by the unknown. However, the genuinely fully functioning person, look at this, these people accept the unknown, they are comfortable with it, they are even attracted by it. They are even attracted by the unknown. Another quote that he says is that they can tolerate the ambiguous. So he says, all at once, the fully functioning person can be objective when the situation calls for it, comfortably disorderly, anarchic, vague, doubtful, uncertain, indefinite, approximate, inexact, inaccurate, and all of these things at once. We already know that no two individual things or persons or events are ever identical, and that everything in the world is in the process with changes occurring, constantly. We have a rule in the form that A1 is not A2, that Mrs. Johnston 1, when you met her in the beginning of the school year, is not the same person that I was today, and that you, 1 second ago, are not the person you are right now. But most of our errors of evaluation arise from the identification reaction, in which we ignore the differences between individuals of the same class name, in which we ignore the changes that occur over time. However, the extensional individual, that's yet another term for the person who's fully functioning, is highly aware of things, people, events, at sub-verbal levels, where everything is in process and everything is in change. The fully functioning person gets that things are always changing. Therefore, self-actualized people have a wonderful capacity to appreciate again and again, freshly and naively, the basic goods of life with awe, pleasure, wonder, even ecstasy, however stale these experiences are for other people. They recognize that sunset 1 is not sunset 2. Flower 1,000,000 is not flower 1,000,001. That baby 1,000 is not baby 1,001. Let me put this in terms of a relationship. My husband and I have been married for 8 years now. I can recognize daily that my husband changes, that my husband has experiences that come into his life that I need to keep talking to him about, seeing how his life has been challenged, seeing what experiences have been brought to him, trying to understand, who are you today? What experiences have stretched you and brought you to a new place? And by continuing to go to that relationship every single day and to say, I'm interested in getting to know you afresh right now, that will keep your relationships, that will keep my relationship with him alive and functioning, right? Now, if I didn't talk to him, if 8 years ago we got married and I said, I love you so much, and I talked to him today for the first time ever since our wedding, how would things be between us? Different, awkward, and horrible. Probably we wouldn't have a relationship because I wouldn't have been aware that Bob 2001 is not Bob 2009, that I have to change and fix my map and be willing to understand that every single experience with him is new and fresh and different than the one before.